Dum 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 dum. Hello, chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the shit show once again. Every Friday at this point, as many Fridays as possible, we can get cramming some absolute degenerate nonsense in here. We are a bit early today, which is lovely because I've got a crap ton of stuff to go through now. Thanks to my mods, of course. Thank you to my mods for all the stuff. So, webcam check. I'm so far to the... this way? Okay, it'll have to do. Well, hello. The weather is good enough so I can wear my hat today, but still drink water, guys. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. We have, I'd say, more YouTube substance than Twitter substance today. So, it's a bit of everything. Although, of course, there is still stuff that we love to do on here. Because it never ends, does it? It never does. It never does. It's redonkulous, I'll be honest. It's raining. Damn, lucky you. It's not rained here for a few days. I just realised the music wasn't on. That's brilliant. But no. We've got a few topics today. We've got... WuWa has no soul. Wow. I mean... honestly... WuWa has no heart. WuWa has no soul. Honestly, it is just so funny. There's no other word to describe it, I'll be honest, guys. And of course, because it's the beginning of the month, we have the Sensor Tower thing, except we're not going to be talking about it. We're actually going to be talking about the reaction to it, right? Because, once again, people online can't keep their agendas away. And that's that, isn't it? My webcam is lagging a bit. Am I going to start glitching out soon? Is that going to happen? Whoa. I'm like phasing through reality right now. Jesus Christ. Okay. Without any further ado, let's go. Hey! Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh my god, we're starting with the Genshin post. Because, of course it is. So... I'm not usually one to go after a game purely based on, like, based on nothing, so baseless claims, but obviously, the character that has been hyped up for literal donkey's years, the Tsaritsa, right, has been revealed a few days ago. I say a few days ago, it's probably like a week ago by now. And this is their design. Again, for some reason, everybody just loves elf ladies. Like... If they have elf ears, it's great. You know, this is Genshin's Imuth. This is Genshin's Cyrene. It's honestly crazy, right? But the thing is, while the design looks good, again, I am noticing something. I am noticing something that... Hang on, the postman's here. Great timing, for God's sake. Exactly. Every time I speak about Genshin, the ninjas get me. It's crazy. I actually cannot speak for 5 fucking seconds. 5 seconds I can't speak. Anyways, what I was going to say was her design looks nice, but again, they skimpified her. What's with the fucking short skirt? Isn't Snezhnaya, like, extremely cold? Is she just immune to the cold? She gets to show off her lovely legs? By all means, right, if I was playing Genshin right now, I'd be served. Because the target audience is me, right? You know, short skirts, friggin' mini skirts, you know, Linnae, Sweet, Chisa, and my webcam's blurry. That's not serving me. That's not serving me. But why is the skirt short? Apart from that, I think her design is actually really fine. But I wasn't going to make any sort of video on this. Because, again, you know, it's Genshin, right? Why should I care? The only thing that's really sort of any bit wrong is the skirt. But apart from that, I think her design is actually very cool. I like the sort of fluffiness on her arms. I think her sort of the long bits of her dress are actually really nice. Obviously, we'll see how her design is later on, you know, in terms of animations and stuff. But obviously, you know, I'm a WuWa-centric channel, so WuWa has to be involved in some way in these tweets. And it actually was a WuWa-centric account that started this. So I'm not going to lie. Disappointing. At least in my eyes, anyways. And it's this. And it's this. And it's this. I don't know if you guys heard that. The dog is growling because the door moved. Right, hang on. I'm going to close my door so the door doesn't move anymore. Hang on, guys. Hang on. Literally, she gets psyched up over everything. Everything. Now, this is from Kaiju. And to be honest, it is kind of Hoyo related, right? The shoulders are out and they just have the legs out. So, to an extent, they have a point. But why are we attacking them? You know, let them be. Let them bark at us and let them just embarrass themselves. We don't need to do anything. Sometimes the best move in war is to do nothing and wait. Because they end up embarrassing themselves every single time. I'm sure that there's people out there that say, oh my god, she ended Imeth. Oh my god, she ended Cyrene. Oh my god, this, that, and the other. And to be honest, just let them bark. Just let them. Just let them, genuinely. But it's kind of funny because it's slightly true. I mean, they've got a bit more than that for once, right? But we don't need to be doing this. We don't need to. We just need to do nothing and we win. It's as simple as that, really. So, yeah. Now, this is why I'm making the video, because ultimately, if it was just that tweet, then I wouldn't bother, right? But it's this. People who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. I might be Hoyo fan, but Kuro always bigger Hoyo fan than me. Basically saying that WuWa players are bigger Genshin fans because they talk about WuWa constantly. Yeah, Kaiju, you kind of brought this upon yourself, my guy. But people who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. And it's a picture of a very diverse cast. Does Tao Chi have her shoulders out? No. Frolova does, yes. Yinlin does, kinda. Janxing, no. Yang Yang, yes. Female Rover, yes. Encore, no. Verena, yes. Baiji, yes. Chisha, kinda. Danjing, no. Jinshi, no. Sanhua, yes. Camellia, no. Huh. Would you look at that? Brother, we don't live in a glass house. And I love how you're comparing the 1.x cast as well. Well, Frolova included, right? But she was 1.x. You are comparing the 1.x cast. Whereas we are talking about Genshin's 7.x characters here? How about you compare WuWa's latest characters? How about that, Chief? Get some Swarming. Get some Qing Xiao. Get some, some Yang Yang SP, some Sui Sui. Get some Sui Sui tummy shots in there, you know? Resonator! Oh, the HSR live stream's on air. I could not care less. I could not care less. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. But again, to say that the WuWa designs are unoriginal and all copy pasted is quite ridiculous, actually. But I'm not gonna pull anyone out for this one because I feel like it's just the start. It's just the start. But again, I want to include this in a bigger sort of broader video, right? And it's from this, and it says, you can tell Kuro is a racist company by the way WuWa has 0 dark-skinned characters. Kuro said, yeah, we don't want to profit off those. Obviously, it's from Hoyo Watchguard, right, who has recently monetized their account. So they are trying to make the most outrageous bait takes to try and farm money, right? So again, reason why I make these videos, block these people, guys. Block these people because they are trying to monetize shite takes. Like, it doesn't take anyone with any talent to monetize their Twitter account and say, wrong is right, 1 + 1 does not equal 2. Yeah, we're using the racist card now, by the way. Like, we are genuinely getting to a point where we are using the race card. Against a Chinese company, right? A Chinese company who actually treats their Western community with a bit of respect. Unlike the likes of Black Beacon, who had a lot of... They had a lot of dark-skinned characters in Black Beacon, if you remember correctly, but their global community was shit on. But no, apparently Kuro Games is racist because there's no dark-skinned characters. Well, guess what? People from your community friggin', I think, what's the word? Is it blackwash? I know there's whitewashing, but there is blackwashing as well. Were they blackwash or, like, try and, like, turn white characters darker skinned, right? I've seen that in the Genshin community. I've seen it a lot, especially around Natlan, right? I've seen that a lot around Natlan. And it's just weird. It's just weird. Like, okay, Kuro Games doesn't have any black characters in WuWa. So what? And? Like, I'm baffled. I'm baffled how you are pulling out the race card. So again, block this guy, guys. Block this guy. But our favorite guy, Life Lessons, had something to say. And this blows out the water. As a person with dark skin, as some people call it, who has been invited many times as the only person that looks like me to WuWa-related events, I have thoughts about this post. Thoughts about gacha games in general, to be honest. But somehow I feel Twitter isn't the place for those thoughts to be dissected critically. Now, what he's saying is he has thoughts about it. However, I don't think Kuro Games is racist. Because when, at least when I look at the, the WuWa space, right? We don't have that many dark-skinned content creators. I think of Life, and I think Life is like the guy that comes to mind, first, right? Postman. The real Postman's here now. For God's sake. Yeah! But hopefully that's the last of the parcels now. Jesus Christ. Now, yeah. Life lessons and Cosmos. And I genuinely think that's it. But with so much sort of race talk nowadays, I have rarely thought about it. Because there's no inclination that they are. Like, do they need to add black characters into the game? No. It's a Chinese game. They don't need to do diversity. It's from China. Hang on. I don't know what that was. But my webcam's so blurry. Elephant ears. That'll do the trick, right? Oh, PGR has dark-skinned characters, does it? Well, there you go, then. There you go. Kuro is not racist. There you go. But we really don't need to be bringing this up. We really don't need to be bringing this up. And I'm going to... I hate the constant focusing and refocusing. It's actually ridiculous, man. It genuinely annoys me. Alright. Just wait for it to refocus now. And I agree, gaming should generally not be about race, right? It should just be about games. And I think that's what it should be. Granted, there should be representation. I think, you know, there should be representation. Not overly forced, but at the end of the day, you know, gaming is gaming. It's a way to escape. We shouldn't be talking about real-world issues in gaming. At least to, you know, a point of that degree, right? There's always going to be real-world issues, sort of like parallels and stuff, but never about that. But again, somebody just said in chat right now, China doesn't care about identity politics. They don't. So I really just don't think that Kuro Games is racist. I just think that they are... They're just Chinese guys. I think that's the only way to put it, right? I think the point of there is no black characters in game, therefore racism is a stupid point to make. It is just characters... No, sorry. It is just an attempt at attacking the game. Characters should fit the world. I agree, actually. I agree. Yeah, what Kuro wants is our money. Exactly. But again, it's just an issue to raise. I would actually like to see what Life Lessons has to say, you know, what they think about it personally. But to say that Kuro Games is racist just because I don't know dark-skinned characters in WuWa is quite frankly a joke. So, yeah. Alright. That's all for that one. Thank you all so much for watching. Oh dear. This, huh? You guys will probably know exactly what this video is. This video has been doing the rounds for a little while now, and it's got nearly 1 million views. Yeah, everybody knows this woman now. She used to make Genshin sort of like funny videos, right? Sort of like low level humor Genshin, right? Dry level sort of humor against Genshin. And then somebody found out that she made a sort of like a dig at WuWa, right? And to be honest, let's just have a watch, guys.
Genshin Impact players bragging when they stop playing the game. I just hate the gacha system, and I don't want to play the same thing over and over again. I now play Wuthering Waves. No one even plays Genshin Impact anymore. Not one person on the entire planet.
You guys seeing it?
I would literally be the only one playing. Wuthering Waves is better. It's like Genshin Impact, but with no heart. They gave me 6 more wishes than Genshin Impact did when they first released. There's such a vast array of games that I want to get into, and I want to be more mature with my gaming. Yeah, that's so true. I mean, I just played through the Dark Souls series, the Resident Evil franchise. I've been playing Marvel Rivals. Wuthering Waves. I just didn't like when I hit a paywall at day 3 of release.
She is memeing. She is memeing. She is memeing. Speaking of, actually, I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima right now. And I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. But she is just memeing. I'm not going to watch the video because you guys get the gist, right? She's just taking the piss out of the people that try and insert Wuthering Waves into everything, right? Because it does happen sometimes. Some people are genuinely so proud of the game that they play. It doesn't happen with just WuWa. It happens with any game. But I wouldn't cover this if we didn't have to be, you know, slandering Wuthering Waves properly. So this guy said this. Wuthering Wave is like Genshin, but... Hang on. Let me get the voice on, actually.
Wuthering Wave is like Genshin, but with no heart. I've been saying that for so long.
Oh, you've been vindicated. Well done. You've been vindicated by satire. Oh, well done, my friend. Well done. Oh, wow. Wow, well done. Well done. It's so peak. But no, I love that, right? I love that. That they just immediately they just immediately start clowning on the game. Genshin, but with no heart. And now we are going to see example after example after example after example of pure and utter counterpoint. Counterpoint galore is coming up, guys. So you guys ready? Are you guys ready? They're about to get countered so hard. Oh! The region intros. Oh, wow. Wow. Oh my god. That's no heart right there, guys. That's got no heart, man. Show me the Nod Cry intro again. Show me the Nod Cry intro. There it is. There it is. Come on, let's go. Watch it. Watch it, guys. Oh, look at that camera angle. Traveler, welcome to Nod Cry. Oh, wow. Oh. Oh, Bollywood. Oh, my God. Oh. And that's it. Good Lord. Brother. You cannot say that Wuthering Waves is Genshin with no heart. It's so funny to me. I genuinely cannot keep it together. I cannot keep it together. You can't say that WuWa is Genshin with no heart, like, unironically, when your latest region intro was that. I really, really, really want to see Snezhnaya's region intro. I really want to see that. I think we deserve another point to prove, guys. Because these guys clearly have forgotten. Yeah, I need to use nuclear waste to clean my eyes after seeing that. Saying WuWa has no heart is like going to the cinema and then being on your phone the whole movie. True. True. Oh my god. And again, need I say more about Nod Cry's intro, right? We've spoken about it time and time again. How it's literally just an advertisement for the characters, right? You've got friggin' Nefer there. You've got Lauma, right? You've got these characters just stood around doing nothing. Camera panning to them and that's it. Brother. Mongzhou intro versus Snezhnaya. Let's run it, chat. Let's run it. When that comes out, let's run it. Let's actually see. Let's actually see if they've improved. Because, like, while they're doing dialogue, we're still showing off. We're still showing off the region. Brother, your point is, it's looking pretty bad right now. Snezhnaya would probably be, the thing is, right, I'm expecting Snezhnaya to improve, right? Just because it's been hyped up for so long. Traveler, welcome to Snezhnaya. Jesus Christ. But anyways, next one. Oh, dear. Oh, it's the guy that tries to monetize bad takes again, guys. What you did is compare presentation. WuWa has no heart, literally. There's no soul in law. Fat Fluffy Penguin would beg to differ. Life lessons would beg to differ. No soul in exploration. The world quests would beg to differ. No soul in world building. Renacita and Lahairoi would beg to differ. No soul in character writing. Frolova, Imeth, Sigrika, Hiyuki, Rover, Lucilla would beg to differ. No soul in story. 2.2, 2.5, 3.1, 3.3, 3.4 Cyberpunk. Boom! How can you AstroTurf so hard? How can you AstroTurf so hard, my guy? Actually, you know what? No. Let's LARP, baby. Let's LARP. That's got to be a LARP take right there. That's got to be a LARP take. But look at this. Meet One Patch Wonder League. Her backstory was so good, I wonder what else we'll learn. Their character development will go crazy down the line. I know they're cooking, just wait. They've got Shawkeeper in there, by the way. Who literally appeared in quite a few quests in Lahairoi, right? They'll make Carlotta and Cantarella interact soon, trust me. They did in 2.7, you moron. They wouldn't just forget about the Montelia-Phasalia conflict, will they? Okay, they kind of did. Okay. Order of the Deep, what's that? We literally got so much lore of Order of the Deep. Oh my god. Give me Liberty, give me Fire, give me one patch of relevancy or I'll retire. Solon, could we please get more appearances down the line? Who are you? It's ironic, right? How they are doing these characters, all Renacita and Septimont characters, when we are literally in Lahairoi. Lupa is somewhat valid because of her treatment in 2.6 and 2.7, I agree. But I would just love for this to be completely disproved when we go back to Huanglong. When we've got the likes of Baizhi, Qixia, Zhezhe, Zhang Liao, Danjin as well. Danjin coming back. 0 reappearances. Shawkeeper's right there, my guy. 0 mentions afterwards. Why would they need mentions? First of all. 7 hype moments in total. No. Develop characters over several patches? They did. Forget them the moment their banner ends. They didn't. If and when, but never again. And never will be. Yeah, okay, buddy. Okay, buddy. Bro, Wuthering Wave's story is so peak. The main character, side characters trash. Story, Rover strong enemy, plot convenience, power up Rover, fans peak. Oh my god. This is actually like... Brother, you have to be so unemployed to make bait this good, man. Average female character interaction with Rover. Blushing. Okay, so Rover's a paedophile then because of Sigrika, right? Flashy images lifting the garbage story. Average WuWa fan. Yo, bro, Rover is the best MC. Damn, he just single-handedly beat everyone. He is the best. Lucilla. Wuthering Waste fans finding out that their main character was a godlike being and owned everything for the 999th time. God, this is actually like peak bait right here. This is so good. Alright, chat. We're opening up a poll. Bait or low IQ? Because holy crap. In my opinion, that is just hella bait. And I am very sure it's bait, right? Because there is no way that's low IQ. Because you have to make this. This is like LARPing bait right here. This is crazy, man. Rover doesn't even have plot armor because guess what? He almost... Well, he was powerless in the 3.x storyline. But again, we're not gonna talk about the actual nuances. We're just going to AstroTurf and LARP everywhere. Let's LARP. Let's goon.
Let's make 10 hate tweets, guys. Ooh, let me jerk off my tiny 1-inch wiener to Wuthering Waves' slander tweets. Oh my god. Arc Big Fan JP posted as well. Oh, I'm about to bust, guys. I'm about to...
Come on, man. Be serious with yourself. Get a fucking life, man. Holy shit. Holy shit, man. It is impossible. Characters barely return because they don't need to. Why on earth would Carlotta, Cantarella, Yuno, and Lupa be appearing in Lahai-Roi? Why would they be? They've all got their duties where they are right now. And when the plot is actually relevant for it, aka going back to Huanglong, they'll return. Because we've seen that they're going to return. It's simple. They only appear when the plot actually needs them to, not because, you know, we need to farm emotional attachment. Oh, my favorite character's back! Yay! My favorite character's back! Like, what if Chisha just appeared in the Lahai-Roi? Oh my god, even though there's a void storm surrounding the whole region, she's somehow here. Augusta is literally a nation's leader. Why would she be in Lahai-Roi? Why would she just be out here in Lahai-Roi? It would make zero sense. Honestly, it's ridiculous. But anyways, let's end the poll now. Let's end the poll. 57% said low IQ. And wow, that's actually interesting. Low IQ won that. That's crazy. Wow. Okay, that's crazy. That is actually crazy. But no, let's continue. Yeah, of course, you know, the usual Twitter circle jerk bootlickers are talking about it, right? Because, you know, any own is engagement bait, right? And they said this. WuWa is in fact Genshin with no soul. That game has failed to actually make their characters, world and story likable. Characters feel like soulless slop that are discarded the patch after the banner ends so they can sell the new shiny character. You can tell when people just don't play the game because, again, right? Again, this is like 1.x level slander, and we are in 3.5. And again, I love how they have to put in their bio, I agenda post for fun. Brother, there is no such thing as agenda posting for fun. You're just making the communities look bad. There is no such thing as agenda posting for fun. Right? If it's for fun, then put a friggin' /J at the end. As to like, you know, signify that you're posting for fun. Guys, it's just a joke. Guys, it's just a joke. But no. It's just so they can cover their own backs. And that's all. That's all. MF's trying to do WuWa is soulless gimmick after a 3.1 and 3.3 generation overrun. Exactly. Exactly. And that is that, isn't it? You cannot accuse the game of having no soul, right? When those two stories happened, right? You honestly cannot accuse WuWa being soulless at all. If WuWa was soulless, I wouldn't have cried at 3.1. But no, guys, let's believe the dumbasses on Twitter, guys. Well done. Well, yeah, well done, guys. Yeah. Ooh, all 10 of our accounts. Woo, 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 woo. You know what I mean? Let's all circle jerk each other. You grab my penis, I'll grab yours. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like. Emotion slop. Exactly. But yeah, that's all for that one. We are in July of 2026, and we are still getting controversies about the fake gacha revenue. And this time, it's not even, right? It's not even WuWa players celebrating second on the graph in revenue, right? Below Love and Deep Space, above Genshin. Oh my god, we're above Genshin? Okay, guys. If we are true to what the people say about us, right? Let me react how they'd expect me to. Oh my god, no way! Wuthering Waves is above Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail. That must mean that we are the best gacha game ever. Oh my god. I am now going to post about how Wuthering Waves is better in 10 subreddits, and I'm going to annoy everyone about how the game is so good, guys. And you guys, yeah, you watching, you should all do the same, guys. You should all just spread the word, spread the gospel that WuWa has won. WuWa has won the Sensor Tower in July. Guys, let's be real here. The Sensor Tower is a load of garbage. The Sensor Tower is a load of garbage. When Genshin and Star Rail are above WuWa, and these people like to campaign it, that, it is WuWa the better game because we're making more money. Right, let's not get into the nuance of that first of all. When that happens, I always say, well, the chart's not accurate, and I'm just not going to take it as gospel. Whereas, these people do. But now the shoe's on the other foot. Now they're saying that it's fake. Now they're saying, Sip Sip Steven, get ready for the worst insufferable... Get ready for the most insufferable week of life. Because again, they expect us to be insufferable. All gas, no brakes. Join Hollywood. Yeah, sure. Get me in WuWa. Get me in WuWa. Get me voice acting. Go on. All ass, no brains. And again, they expect us to be how they are, right? When their favorite game is above WuWa. And again, Sip Sip Steven, you know, Hoyo content creator, so again, right, it's yeah, this shit is ass, isn't it? And again, I am not going to even bother talking about how WuWa is finally overtaking Genshin and Star Rail because the chart is false. The chart doesn't make sense. We've already talked about multiple times how this stuff is inflated and it's just made up. It's estimated. Estimated to a point where it's not reliable. So, you know, at the end of the day, what is there to laugh about? Nothing. Because this means diddly squat. It's like showing a printed out receipt of a shop, yet it's printed out via someone's printer, right? It's just, it can be fabricated for all you know, right? Genuinely no substance whatsoever. And again, the WuWa Twitter community had something to say about this. I wish people raised no WuWa player gives an actual hell about a mobile... Hang on. I said raised instead of realized. Let me start that again. I wish people realized no WuWa player actually gives a shit about mobile revenue charts apart from saying Tontas, but you can hardly call that guy WuWa player anyways. Yeah, unfortunately Saint will make a video about this. You know, it's just, it is what it is, I suppose. It is disappointing, but whatever, man. As long as the rest of us don't. He already did. Well, there you go, then. There you go. There you go, then. WuWa players have been dealing with annoying people using revenue charts as a gotcha since the game release, but now they're making more... Oh, this is brilliant. But now they're making more suddenly we're insufferable. Okay. Hang on. The spelling... The spag is not working here. The spelling, punctuation, and grammar is not working here. Hang on. Let me put it into a language that you can understand. WuWa players have been dealing with annoying people using revenue charts as a gotcha since the game released. But now they're making it like... Well... Guys, English is my first language, and this just does not make sense to me. But now that they are making more... Oh. I'm an idiot. Never mind. Let me just read that from the top, guys. Spare the blushes. WuWa players have been dealing with annoying people using revenue charts as a gotcha since the game released, but now that they're making more, suddenly we're insufferable. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm low IQ, guys. Yeah. Now that we're making more, we're suddenly insufferable, right? It's ironic because I never saw anything about it until Sip Steven posted about it. Which is just so ironic. It's so ironic, man. Again, you are being more insufferable than the people you complain about. There you go. I mean, we've seen, you know, the beef between Tectone and Sip Steven in the past, right? We've seen the beef. So, you know, we know what Sip Steven's like. You know, get ready for the most insufferable week of life. What is, apart from saying, right, is anybody actually farming this? If you are, then shame on you. But is anybody actually farming this? Because I don't think so, right? WuWa Twitter actually doesn't care about revenue comparisons unlike Hoyo Twitter. Exactly! I mean, would you call me part of WuWa Twitter? Probably not, because I am a YouTuber primarily, but I don't care about revenue. I don't. I made my peace. I made my peace when it got exposed that one time, when I did that little expose, right? I just think that this whole sort of situation with the revenue needs to be dead and buried. Because I don't know about you guys, but it's so fabricated to a point where I can't care, even if WuWa is at the top. Like, WuWa could be #1 for all I care, right? And I still wouldn't actually care. I wouldn't make a video on it. All I care about is the actual official data, right? The official stuff. Official is good, right? Maybe I'm blind, but I haven't seen any WuWa players trying to use revenue like Genshin does, which makes me happy. At least one community is still healthy. Oh, another account. Someone hasn't seen anything. Oh. Maybe we're confused, guys. As opposed to us having to deal with 3 of your insufferable-ass communities every other month. Oh. Truth bomb. Truth bomb. Because you know for a fact, right, the likes of Arc Big Fan JP, Aizen, Euphoralized, right? If WuWa was below Genshin and Star Rail, they'd be like,
Pua below Genshin Star Rail. Pua is Pua. Oh my god. Let me make 10 more hit tweets because they are below in revenue. This has to be the gospel. Oh my god, this is like the 10 Commandments all over again.
Like, again. Oh, hang on, we got a hater. We got a hater. Hater. Oh, is it Rover Slander? Oh, and it's made with AI as well. Ha, what a loser. I'm not reading all that. It's made with AI. I'm not reading all that. Yeah, we were supposed to EOS, by the way. Just saying. Watch Same Tone Task, Shagai High, Kaizu, and the rest of the toxic WuWa use this shit on Hoyo for the meme. Same Tone Task, unfortunately, already has. Can't say anything about that, can I? Shagai High, I'm not sure. Kaizu? No. I actually don't think they have, right? To my knowledge, anyways. But again, these people bracing for impact because the WuWa community is so toxic. Guys, we aren't. You paint us out to be this, and then you kind of like gaslight yourself into thinking that we are, when we just aren't. Crazy, man. No. Wow, okay. Nobody with a brain give a hell about my anime casino milks me more than your anime casino discourse. But it's funny that you're only addressing this now that WuWa is higher than Hoyoverse games. You're more insufferable than the people you're pointing fingers at. Truth bomb, truth bomb, truth bomb, truth bomb, truther. We got a truther in the Twitter space chat. Truther. Oh, I always misspeak words. I always misspeak words. Believe me. Imagine what would happen if Hoyo Shills would just stop talking about Wuthering Waves. Honestly, I'd be out of a job. Just kidding. But, it would be so peaceful. It would be so peaceful. Oh my god. Oh, it'd be so peaceful, man. It'd be lovely. Hell will freeze over. Yeah. I mean, I saw this one thread on Twitter. Like, a WuWa player and a Genshin player actually got along, right? Two well-known sort of, like, agenda posters, right? They actually got along because Genshin improved because of the premium Sitlali animations, which I'm sure you guys have seen if you're online. But no, I honestly think that this is a load of garbage. The fact that, like, why are we getting attacked? We've not done anything. At least the most of us, the majority of us, have not done anything. It's like these Hoyo people are just like, WuWa's above them now, so they have to make another slander about the game. They have to make another slander. They have to say, oh, if WuWa was below Genshin, they're below it, haha, we win again, ha, let's spread it everywhere. Oh, WuWa's winning, oh, they're gonna attack us, oh, it's so toxic, oh, this, that, and the other. Take a chill pill, take a fucking chill pill, man. Me included, right? Just take a chill pill. Not everything's that deep. We're not even that deep, guys. And that is all for that. That's all for the Twitter. And we got a lot of videos to watch today. I'm actually very excited. I'm very excited to watch these videos because honestly, some of them are pretty good. Some of them are pretty good. Right? Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah. Twitter wasn't that bad, right? Twitter wasn't that bad, but there are quite a few videos. And I've got a bit of everything here today, right? We have GHP, 138 subs. Did Wuthering Waves become too good to criticize? Incredible thumbnail. No, not sorry, thumbnail. Incredible title. I really want to watch that. We got Fat Fluffy Penguin. What is Shin based on? Because I want to learn, right? They're, you know, Fat Fluffy Penguin, Writer's Tale. Them people right here, Writer's Tale. A real story isn't the new region. It's what it changes. Then we've got VXV Fiction. This might stir up a bit. And then this as well. This is an interesting one that I do want to end on. It's the Stop Killing Games movement, but it involves gachas because we have seen the likes of, you know, Stop Killing Games sort of go around the EU. But we've seen gachas EOS just out of nowhere, like Tribe 9, Black Beacon. Well, I say out of nowhere, it was coming for both of them, but it's interesting. But nonetheless, let's get to watching then, shall we? Let's do it. England is no longer an EU member, that is correct. Or are we? I don't friggin' know at this point. It's genuinely... We should have never left the EU, honestly. It causes a lot of trouble. More trouble than it's given us good for. But anyways, let's have a go then. So first off, we have how Wuthering Waves turned the gacha space into a graveyard for new games. And again, the thing is, I echoed this sentiment in my NT quitting video. I just said that I felt that WuWa is just so good that my standards are so high, right? I said that. And this kind of echoes it again. So this is from the Nigerian perspective. It's very new. It's very, very new, right? So, it's very new. It's 3rd of July, so it's literally today, by the way. So we're reacting to it fresh off the rip. Go watch their video first before watching this, of course. I will say this about every one of them. Go watch theirs first. And just, you know, don't use my videos as a substitute. Give them a like. Videos in the description. Let's begin. Hang on. Nothing is no audio. Yeah, hang on.
I mean, Genshin Impact
Okay.
is doing.
Let's go.
Once again, we find ourselves in a period where the gacha space feels like it's experiencing some of the biggest hype it has ever seen. I mean, Genshin
Yeah,
Impact
we got
is
so
going all out
many.
with all
Yeah, obviously we've got the current games, right? You know, we got Zenless 3.0, we got SNES 9 and Genshin Impact, we've got Rewinding Cadence coming out, we've got Silver Palace's CBT1, we've got Azure Premilia, we've got Ananta whenever that comes out. We've got so many gachas coming out. It's honestly so inflated.
the trailers is putting out for Sneznaya. We're seeing characters, the region itself, even getting our first real look at the Sarita, which, depending on where you stand on her design, she looks pretty cool. On the other
she looks
hand,
pretty
Wuthering
cool,
Waves is
yeah.
preparing to release Mangju,
And of course, yeah, I
my
forgot to say
God,
Wuthering
the
Waves
hype
Mangju,
surrounding
right?
this region is absolutely insane. I mean, whether it's because of the characters, the world itself,
Oh,
or my
sweet
personal
come
favorite
here,
reason,
man.
the fact that the rover is once again receiving an insane upgrade.
Yeah,
to their
Electro
abilities and
Rover looks
combat
sick.
kits. There is just so much excitement surrounding
Electro
what is
Rover
coming
looks
out
so
next.
good.
But this goes beyond just Genshin Impact and Wuthering Waves. I mean, looking at the unreleased side of the genre, we have games like Silver Palace throwing their hat into the ring,
Exactly.
dropping trailer after trailer while preparing for its upcoming beta test. And really, it is in the
I
idea
haven't
of
seen that
other
footage
gachas
yet.
that this video is really
I haven't
focused
seen
on.
this
I mean, whether
footage.
you like it or not, the hype surrounding Wuthering Waves right now is completely deserved. Because more than anything, this is a game that has continually proven that it can revolutionize what people expect from gacha. This is a game that took the genre from what it once was, so a place that very few people thought it could
Yeah,
ever
exactly.
reach. A place where the
Exactly.
conversation isn't
Such a
just about
pioneer,
gambling
man.
mechanics anymore, but about world building, storytelling, exploration, music, genuine game design. And because of that success, we have seen new gacha games either release or get announced. I mean, games like Duet Night Abyss, Arc Knight Enfield, Neverless
Yep,
to Everest,
Enfield,
Rewinding
NTE,
Cadence, Silver
yep.
Palace. The list just
Yep,
keeps growing.
yep.
So with
It's a
everything
long
we know
list,
right
man.
now, there is one important question we have to ask. I mean, with all these games, all these massive fan bases, all these resources being poured into this genre, why haven't we seen another major revolution in gacha? Why does it still feel like Wuthering Waves
Exactly. That's what I'm waiting for. That is what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the next WuWa level game to come out, right? I'm giving every single game that comes out a chance. Like NTE, for a long time, I actually wasn't even bothered about it. But as soon as the beta 2 came out, I was like, okay, I actually want to play this. Silver Palace and Rewinding Cadence, I'm going to play day one, 100%. I am already sold. I'm hearing a few things about Silver Palace, though, that may put me off. They've got a similar gacha system to Enfield. And if you guys know why I quit Enfield, it's because of the gacha system. So I hope that they can change it. I really, really do. Because I don't see why these games have to change the formula, right? Wuthering Waves has an okay gacha system. NT's better, right? Like with the whole no 50-50. But Wuthering Waves, I think, should be the standard of gacha right now. Just 50-50 on the character banner and 100% rated weapon banner. Simple as that. No complications, nothing like that. Just simple stuff. I think that's just how it should be in gachas from now on. There should be no way that you should be able to lose the weapon, right?
remains the biggest catalyst for change. And even more importantly, looking at the games that are still on the horizon, Rewinding Cadence, Silver Palace, games like those, which one has the greatest chance of pushing the genre forward once again and delivering the next
What is
evolution
that?
of gacha that so many of us in the gacha space have been waiting to see?
Where's an answer got a freaking skippity toilet mount? What the hell was that?
That's what we're going to talk about in this video. So if you're into this kind of content, make sure to leave a like and let me know your thoughts on the current state of gacha. Do you believe we're at a point where newer gacha games simply are not capable of causing the next major shift? Or do you think there's another reason entirely why we haven't really seen another evolution in the genre since Wuthering Waves? Tell me your thoughts in the comments below, and of course,
It's been
don't
what,
forget to
like
subscribe
over
to
2
the
years
channel
now?
on any of my future videos. Alright, let's get into it. See, some of my favorite topics to talk about are the ones surrounding newer gacha games, because more than anything, there is one thing these games will always possess that the Genshins, the WuWas, the Honkai Star Rail simply never will again, and that is potential. I mean, with the release of
Jesus! I agree though. When the game's not out, you can genuinely just... There's so much potential for these games. it's honestly ridiculous, man.
Of any new gacha game, we as players expect everything. We expect to be blown away by what these games have to offer, especially after months, even sometimes years of trailers, teasers, and the general marketing building up to that excitement. I mean, that is both the greatest advantage and even more so, the greatest disadvantage that every new gacha game
I'm
has
hoping
at
Silver
launch.
Palace
And it's a
competes
really
as well.
interesting thing to understand, because when you look at the games that have released over the past couple of years, what we've consistently seen are games that have absolutely benefited from that initial advantage. But in an even bigger way, they have also fallen victim to the disadvantage that comes with it. I mean, take Arknight's Enfield, for example. When it was first released, it was the game everyone was talking about. A game being hailed as...
I loved Enfield on release. I actually really did. But the game, the gacha system soured me so bad, man. It soured me so bad.
the next big thing for gacha.
It like, the honeymoon phase of a game supposed to last a little while. It completely just destroyed it. It was crazy.
I mean, whether you were an Arknights player or not, everyone was paying attention. The conversation surrounding this game was absolutely massive. But fast forward just a few months, and what we've seen has almost been a complete 180 from that initial excitement. I mean, don't get me wrong, there is still discussion around the game. There are still plenty of people who love it. But right now, more than ever, it is impossible not to notice just how much that conversation has slowed down. How part of that excitement has completely transformed. I mean, these days,
Like 2 or 3 weeks ago, people complained about like content drought in Enfield, and it's like, it's only in 1.2, 1.3, right? Why is there a content drought so early on in the game? You need to keep your players, you know? It's such a disappointment, I'd say, because, you know, I'm sure many people love Enfield, but they've quit because of reasons that they didn't really want to quit for, if that makes sense, right?
you see criticism and negativity directed towards many of the same aspects of Arknight's Enfield that people were praising not too long ago, and in many cases it is coming from the very same people who were once celebrating those features. And really, the same thing can be said for Neverness to Everness, except there we started seeing that shift from excitement to neutrality, and even in some cases outright disappointment, even earlier than we did with Arknight's Enfield. So the big question
I think a lot of things, well, I think the one thing that NCE got wrong on release that actually soured a lot of people was the AI usage. A lot of people just hate AI usage, and I can understand it. Like, it feels lazy, and it's also not helping, you know, the environment and stuff like that. Obviously, I've got my whole stance on AI in video games and stuff like that, but I can understand why people just quit immediately. I saw so many people quit. Genuinely, it was crazy.
becomes why. I mean, forget revolutionizing gacha. Why are we not seeing these newer gacha games maintain that initial wave of excitement and positivity that almost every major gacha title starts with? Why does it feel like the hype dies off so much faster than it used to? And yes, it will be completely valid to put the blame on the games themselves. The reality that these games just aren't doing enough. Whether we're talking about Arknight's Enfield and the complaints surrounding its lack of
Unironically, I think NTE, right, is like the opposite of Enfield. It has so much. It has so much content.
content. On Neverness to Everness and the criticism directed towards the story. I mean, these are all legitimate reasons why people's opinions have shifted. But while
I can't criticize the story. I haven't played 1.1, so I don't think I'm in a position to criticize it, unfortunately.
I think those criticisms are absolutely valid, I also think there's a much bigger reason behind all of this. A reason that I believe a lot of people already know but don't really want to admit. And that is the fact that in many ways, the revolution that Wuthering Waves has brought to the genre has also, in a sense, unintentionally damaged it. Or more accurately, it has completely changed the way we, the audience, judge gacha games. And what we
I said this. He's echoing exactly what I said, man.
expect from gacha developers. And I think a content creator who, albeit unknowingly, explained this shift almost perfectly is Neon Infinity.
Hey! What? Hello? Hello? Brother! What? What on earth? Hello? Chat is me. I unironically didn't know I'd be in here. I'm not paid. My webcam's dying because of how peak this is. Oh my god. I'm blushing, guys. Oh.
A couple of days ago, Neon uploaded a video explaining why he decided to quit both Arknight's Enfield and Neverness to Everness. And here is what he had to say.
I'm just gonna get into it. The reason.
Oh my god, it's me, chat. It's me. I'm right there. I'm a paid actor, guys.
NTE is because my standards are just so high. I think the gacha system is amazing. I really do. I think the no 50. Why am I in here? Why am I in here? God's sake. Why am I in here? It is just so good. I think that the way they do the gacha system. You know what? You're getting a subscription from me. Thank you for that. The little playing board. I think the weapon banner is actually not too bad. I actually think that the character designs look really good. I think the story's alright. I haven't played 1.1 and that's the problem. That is the problem right there. Yeah, listen to me, guys. Listen to me. Quitting. Because at the time of recording this video, it's been about like 1.5, 2 weeks since 1.1's come out. And I have had zero excitement to play the story. And for me personally, like for you guys, it might be different, right? You might just want to, you know, stay along with the game and just see how it goes. But for me personally, I'm just not excited by the story. And for me, if I'm not excited, then, you know.
And I find this perspective really
I said, what's the point?
See, one Neon's
Thank you. I didn't expect a whole ass clip of me to be in here. Thank you, man.
specifically points to the story as the reason he is falling out of love with a lot of these newer gacha games. I actually think there is a broader way of describing what he is.
But the thing is, right, I also want to sort of add to this point as well before I go any further, because I feel like if, like, let's just say, alternate universe, right? Wuthering Waves, let's just say that NTE and Wuthering Waves swapped, right? NTE was the game that came out in 2024 and delivered on the story, right? And NTE was my first gacha game. And WuWa was in the place of NTE. I don't think I would have stuck with WuWa. I don't think it's a bias issue. I genuinely think it is a standards issue. Like, once my standards have changed, that's it. I can't go back. I honestly can't go back. And again, it is maybe a bit of a toxic thing to do. But, you know, it's unfortunate. But, you know, it's not up to me to choose, you know, which game to keep. At the end of the day, if a game wants to keep me, they should prove to me, right? Same goes with you guys. If you guys want to quit a game, then quit. Because a game shouldn't have to prove itself to you. Or rather, you don't have to prove yourself to the game, right? By staying. The game should have to prove itself to you. That's what I mean, right?
Talking about, and that is quality. And not just the story quality, but the overall standard people now expect from a gacha game. I mean, the bar for what people consider enjoyable has risen dramatically. And unfortunately for a lot of these newer releases, Wuthering Waves might be the biggest reason why. I mean, this is a game that didn't just raise expectations for combat or graphics. It raised expectations for almost everything. Storytelling, world building, presentation, music, character interaction, quality of life features, post-launch supports, the entire package. And as a result,
it sounds so glazy. Like, I feel like I've got freaking saliva all around my mouth from how much cocksucking I'm doing for the game, right? But it's true. It's true.
Games that would have been considered genuinely impressive just a few years ago.
Also, I'm sorry you guys had to get that insane innuendo from me just then.
Are now being judged against a completely different standard. And I think the proof of this isn't really found in the games themselves, but rather our willingness to wait. I mean, ask yourself this. Why were so many of us willing to wait weeks, even months, for Wuthering Waves to get better? And even more so, why are we simply unwilling to extend that same patience to games like Neverness to Everness or Arc Knight's Enfield?
Exactly.
I had always attributed that patience to Wuthering Waves itself. The improvements we saw over time, the way Kuro continually listened to player feedback, everything that came with that. I mean, you've heard this argument 1,000 times before, but I actually think there is a much bigger reason. See, I think the main reason so many people waited for Wuthering Waves, other than what Kuro was doing for the game, was really because at the time, the games that already existed simply weren't meeting the standard we actually wanted from this genre.
True.
I mean, we can and we always do talk about story versus relationship with this player base. The idea that the developers don't really listen or don't really care to the extent people would like. But let's put the developers aside for a second and look purely at Genshin Impact as a video game. And really ask yourself, before the release of Wuthering Waves, did Genshin Impact, strictly as a video game, consistently give you more than the bare minimum when it came to presentation and storytelling? I mean,
I think we all know the answer to that one, chat.
When you look at the Wuthering...
But the thing is, I think his point is actually invalid for me, right? His point is invalid. Because WuWa was my first gacha. So I didn't wait around. I wasn't resorting to, I wasn't like waiting on WuWa because the other options were bad. I was actually playing Star Rail at the time as well. So I honestly think for me, it was a trust. Maybe there was just some sort of a subconscious trust in like 1.0, 1.1. Because ultimately, right, what kept me going back then was Yinlin And then I wanted to get Changli and Jinshi, right? And then once the 1.1 story came out, I thought, okay, this game actually has potential and I'm going to stick with it. And after that, by that point, we'd have, all the devs listen moments already in 1.0 and 1.1, all, the bug fixes. We're going to get a free Zhang Liao eventually. All that stuff gave me a lot of trust for Kuro games. And that's ultimately why I waited and stuck with it, I guess.
Wave stories today, independent of lore reviews, independent of overarching narrative, strictly judging each story as an individual experience. It is very easy to compare them to the experiences you would get from full AAA titles. That is how good they have become. Whether it's the emotional impact of the story, the character expression, the cinematography, the camera work, the subtext, all the little details that elevate simple quests into something genuinely memorable, those are qualities Wuthering Waves consistently strive for. And the more important thing is, these aren't just nice bonuses anymore, they have become expectations. They have become something we naturally expect with each passing version, and something whose absence turns the entire story into a flat-out disappointment. So once again, ask yourself this: before Wuthering Waves, could we have even imagined expecting this level of presentation from a gacha game? I mean, we had Genshin making billions of dollars every single year. Yet what we came to understand is that there were still aspects of its storytelling and presentation that many people considered merely acceptable. In fact, it became so common that people would rate Genshin's story in two completely different ways. There was the gacha game rating, where the story would score incredibly high, and then there was the video game rating, where the exact same story was scored noticeably lower. And really, that was simply how we viewed the gacha genre before Wuthering Waves. So yes, when Wuthering Waves launched with all of its issues,
I'm not gonna lie, guys, he's speaking straight facts.
it made sense that many of us were willing to wait. More so because despite the rough launch, the quality that we experienced at the time wasn't really that different from what we associated with high-end gacha games. And this, more than any reason, is why I say Wuthering Waves has caused almost irreversible damage to the genre. Because what games like Neverness to Everness are giving us now is in many ways the old standard, the Horrorverse standard, a level of quality that a few years ago would have been considered more than enough. But
he's hit the nail on the head there. He's hit the nail on the head that I literally, I was talking about, if WuWa and Neverness to Everness was, the other way around, right? I think he hit the nail on the head there, right? I think he has.
The problem is that is no longer enough. And while even Arknight's Enfield deserves credits because, at least in terms of presentation, it clearly pushes beyond that old standard, it still falls back into it when it comes to the storytelling itself.
If we take a look at 1.2 and how we had the big story fight in...
Oh, this was one of the videos that I was going to react to in the previous stream, but it was one of 3.
Cooling City. That one was cool. The funny storyline was one of the greatest that I've ever seen. It was a great visual experience. They have a lot of cool little elements that they decided to play involved, and I think those are great. But the thing that they didn't do a good job was what happens after you've done that main story, because the side events that you had to do wasn't great at all, right? You had the cleaning event, you had the event where you had to feed some food, you still had survival training where you just throw random bombs at enemies, and then later on you wait a whole bunch of weeks to get into this area called the test area, which is a beautiful map for you to witness. But the problem with the test area is that it's not very enticing of a storyline. It feels pretty kiddish for me to follow around some floaty items, to go place to place, to see a pillar. Instead of it feeling like a story, it feels like I've just gone to just a...
Okay, so now we have just one question left. What game can we realistically expect to not simply go beyond the bare minimum, but to truly revolutionize gacha? I mean,
honestly, I think that we need to lower our expectations for the upcoming games. As much as the standards are high, I do think we have to lower our expectations, because we will never see another Wuthering Waves. Like, if we want a WuWa 2.0 for a gacha release, guys, that's a hard ask. That is a very hard ask. The game genuinely has to be generational to release in that state. I'm not even joking.
That is the entire point of this video. What game can we expect to get so many things right, and get them right so early that we begin looking at it as the next major leap for the genre? Because really, this mystery game has its work cut out for it. I mean, we're looking for a gacha game that, despite being a gacha, delivers the quality and experience of a full-fledged video game. We're looking for a game that takes itself seriously, a game where the voice direction, the cinematography, and the overall presentation all communicates one thing: that the developers believe in the story they're trying to tell. Because if this game wants us to take its narrative seriously, then every aspect of its presentation should reflect that. But at the same time, as talked about earlier, it is also important to understand that newer games no longer have the luxury that Wuthering Waves had. They don't have months to convince players that they will eventually get better. They have to get it right from day one. And out of every game we've seen, whether it's already been released or still on the horizon, I think there is one title that currently checks almost every single one of those boxes.
Rewinding Cadence.
Silver Palace.
Or
and
Silver
really,
Palace.
The history of this game has actually been really fascinating. Because see, when Silver Palace first appeared, it almost felt
It's
like
got
the
a
second coming
okay,
of
hang on,
Gacha.
hang on. Let me give my take on Silver Palace. I'm gonna play it day one. It's got an interesting art style. It reminds me of DNA a bit, right? The world looks good. I mean, I just reacted to a trailer yesterday, right? I reacted to the gameplay trailer. It looks like it's got unique gameplay. It's looking good. But I'm not going to, sort of make any conclusions until I get my hands on it. But the thing is, I've heard about the gacha system. And it's like Enfield's. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good at all. I have signed up for the beta. I don't know if the, players are allowed in at the minute. But you guys should sign up for the beta. Just see if you can get in, right? Because I would love to test the gacha system out. I just love to test the game out. I would love to do it genuinely. I think it'd be so good. I think it'd be so good.
I mean, it showed us a side to the genre that, quite honestly, many of us never expected to see. And yes, a lot of that first impression came from the visuals, the art direction, the character designs, the protagonist. And perhaps the biggest visual surprise of them all, the horse. I mean, this means of traverse.
Cinderella, baby.
So it immediately became one of the game's defining features. But more than anything, what made Silver Palace stand out wasn't simply that it looked beautiful. No, it was because Silver
It's
Palace
literally like the WuWa bike. I'm not even joking. The horse looks really good. And again, this is what we want. Quality of life, exploration quality of life that's free.
it's more than most other gachas, showed us that it has the capacity to
Yo, Nigerian perspective, you're in here. Thanks for including me in the video, man. I wasn't expecting it. You just jump scared me with my own face. The man of the hour is here. Good video, though. I think you hit the nail on the head with a lot of stuff, actually. I think you have. Because even though, personally, when I was starting WuWa, it was my first gacha. So when I was starting, I actually, I didn't have any other standards. It was genuinely just WuWa. And it's just the sort of, the trust that Kuro Games built with me, personally. I don't know about any of you guys, but the trust Kuro Games with me, oh my God, the trust that Kuro Games built with me was enough. It was. Because that's what kept me going through 1.x. I knew that WuWa had potential, and I knew that it would improve. Because we saw it, right, between 1.0 and 1.1, and then 1.1 and 1.3. We saw the improvement, so why can't it go further? And that's ultimately why I stuck with it. And with regards to Enfield, I mean, I quit that because of the gacha system. Quit NTE because of my standards, toxic standards, some people would say. But no, I think you do have a very good point that the gacha space has changed now. It really has. And I've said this in a few of my videos, that the gacha space has changed. A lot of people refuse to admit it, but yeah, same with you. Fair enough. A lot of people refuse to admit it, but the gacha space is different now. The standards have changed. It's no longer about, sort of the higher quality. It's about actual game quality, which is, what you said in the video. So, you bang on about it.
I mean, one thing that immediately stands out about Silver Palace, especially when you go back and watch
I'm so
the
excited
reactions for the
for this
first
game,
beta test, is that almost every content creator who played the game had only one thing to say about its story.
Aesthetic. The characters are stunning.
Yo,
the character
Sticks.
body types are incredible. The NPC design.
Body types? Hey. Cinderella.
Is very diverse. They're
Oh, they got a
actually
grapple
more detailed
too.
than a lot of
Ooh.
games I've seen. It features a very realistic graphical style. It has very Victorian era-esque inspired artwork. Seeing the city.
Okay, what I will say though is I think the sprinting doesn't feel labored enough. Hopefully they improve that.
brought to life
from
in a
what I
way
saw
that
there.
I've never seen in a
But the horse
style of
looked
game
really
that
good.
I've never.
We watched Rewinding Cadence. We
Oh,
obviously
Bran as well.
WuWa and many other gacha games, but there is one specific gacha game that I am looking forward to the most out of anything that I have seen.
Yeah, the drifting horse you just saw in the background there.
This game looks like it is doing so many things correct.
I'm gonna be honest. This
No,
is one
same.
of the highest production value fights I think I've ever seen. The vibe
Coming from Saint, that's crazy, by the way. Just saying. I'm not going to say anything else, but coming from Saint, that's crazy.
are immaculate. This just looks fun.
Now, if you haven't heard me shilling this game before,
Gacha
you'll
Smack.
be hearing me shilling
Yeah,
this game
I'm late
often.
to the
Why?
party when it
Because
comes
Silver
to
Palace is the only game
gacha content
in the
creators,
gacha
by the way,
space
talking about
to
Silver
ever
Palace.
actually impressed me with its story in 1.0. Every other gacha game that I've
I
played,
think Silver Palace would be that next game, though. The only thing that can mess up this game is the devs. Absolutely. 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 It's got the foundations. It's got the Chisa potential, you know. Oh man, I just hope it does well. I am honestly praying that Silver Palace does well because we need more, especially now. We need more gacha games that can compete on the level of WuWa, right?
has had a dog water story in 1.0, except this game. And
Really?
the craziest thing about it is it was just the beta. The game hasn't even launched yet. It had peak voice acting. It had good pacing, good quality, good visuals. I mean,
First time I'm hearing this, actually. Really?
the people were talking to each other as if they were in the same room and not as if they were recording voice lines.
Now, again, I'm not going to take any of these CC's words completely, factual, right? I'm going to make my own mind up. But it sounds good.
I'm putting all
That
my
sounds
faith
really
into
good,
this
actually.
game to
I've
make
not
real
heard
ripples
these
in
guys'
this space,
opinions, so that
not
looks
because
really
of the
good,
combat
actually.
that everybody had critiques for, but because the story was something worth paying attention to.
And this was in the Monotype beta, wasn't it? Oh wait, no, this is the dichotomy beta test. Okay.
In one
Now, it's very easy to dismiss all of this by saying, well, they're being sponsored, so of course they're going to speak positively about the game. And yes, while that's a fair point to bring up, I personally don't think that is what is happening here. Partly because of what we've already seen from the game itself, from the trailers, the cinematics, the overall presentation that Silver Palace has consistently pushed forward. I mean, just a couple of days ago, we talked about the importance of voice direction in the gacha game, and how much the game's presentation influences
Yeah, you know
whether
what?
players
Voice
take it
direction is
seriously
massive.
or not. And we use Wuthering Waves as the perfect example of this. I mean, despite all the larger-than-life battles, the massive explosions, some of the most memorable moments in Wuthering Waves are not the fights, they are the conversations. The way the conversations are
Exactly.
delivered, the emotion in the performance, all the things that make dialogue feel real and leave a lasting
Saint wasn't
impression on you
sponsored,
as a
really.
player.
Wow.
And really, we can already see
Yeah,
Silver
it just
Palace
echoes my
aiming at
point
the
there.
same level of seriousness. I mean, the voice work we've heard so far gives off the impression that this is a game that genuinely believes in the story it is trying to tell. A game that wants its emotional moments to actually land. And even beyond that, we've also seen how these very same content creators react when a game under-delivers. I mean, they don't start calling this the best opening story that they have ever experienced in gacha, like what Gacha Smack did. They don't compare it to the biggest names in the entire genre, like what Doro44 did. No. I mean, sure, they still remain positive, but even within that positivity, you can usually tell when a game didn't truly impress them. There's always this underlying feeling that, yeah, it is good, but it is just about what you would expect. But with Silver Palace, there's always been a different level of confidence, a different level of excitement. I mean, don't get me wrong, even after everything...
I mean, let's not forget the hype this game generated, right? When the first ever trailer came out. Like, let's not mistake the hype that it generated, right? I was so excited. Monotype beta. Now it's in CBT1. We still probably have to wait like 1 or 2 more years, man. If the game is that good in Monotype and CBT1, imagine how much better it's going to be. Honestly, I am very excited to play this game. I really am.
Silver Palace is still a game that has been
I'm just
affected
trying
by
to
the
sort of
Wuthering
quell my
Waves effect.
expectations
a
a
game
bit.
understand that although it received so much praise in its initial trailers, many of the trailers that followed were met with far more criticism, whether it was the combats, the UI, or simply how the game felt to play. There was definitely a lot more criticism directed towards it. But as I've already argued, I think a large part of that comes from the standard that Wuthering Waves has already established for the genre. Plus, even with all that criticism, one thing has become very clear. This is a game that has shown a tremendous amount of growth. And if by the time it releases, and even after that, the developers continue to improve the game and keep building on the foundation they've already established, then as I said earlier, I genuinely believe we could be looking at a game capable of pushing the entire gacha genre forward once again. But that is just my opinion. What do you think? What are your thoughts on the Wuthering Waves effects in today's gacha space? Do you believe Silver Palace will be the exception, the game that finally breaks this trend and truly wows players once again? Or do you think the genre is heading in a completely different direction? Tell me your thoughts in the comments below, and as always,
what do I think? Thank you for the video, though. Thank you, man. Honestly, I'm honored to be in such a well-crafted video. Very, very good video. And obviously, you know, linked in the description, guys. But to give my closing thoughts, I think Silver Palace has a lot of potential. I think it's the biggest potential game in gacha for a long time. A long, long time. Honestly. I honestly think that, you know, the likes of Enfield, NTE, all that stuff, the hype is eclipsed by Silver Palace. And I don't know if that's good or bad. Because, you know, some people equate hype with high expectations, whereas it should be excitement. Yeah, don't get your hopes up for Silver Palace. They've already used AI in the trailers, have they? I can't vet that, unfortunately. Yeah, WuWa broke the space with the Cyberpunk collab, definitely. I mean, hey, I'm gonna give all these games a fair shot, like I have with all the previous ones. You know, I'm gonna give them all a fair shot. So, yeah, thanks to the Nigerian perspective once again for the video. Thank you so much for watching. Brilliant video, brilliant video. Can't believe I was in it, man. Why am I in? It's me. Oh, it's me, chat. Oh, why am I in here? Yeah, can't spell WuWa without two W's. Exactly. But no. I was on TV, chat. I was on TV. Let's do it in order, actually. I want to do VXV last, right? Okay. So, we have an interesting video to react to here. And this is from GHP. Now, they only have 138 subs. So, again, link is in the description, right? And it's called, Did Wuthering Waves Become Too Good to Criticize? Crazy point. Crazy point. And I think, personally, starting off right, no game is above criticism. No game. Genuinely, no game. Like, I cannot state a single game that is above criticism. Like, no man is above the law. No game is above criticism. Unless you're a billionaire. Everything can be criticized. Exactly. But no, I honestly want to hear what they have to say. Again, links in the description. Go watch their video before watching mine. Don't use mine as a substitute. Go give them a like. We'll have a look at the video then.
So
have a go.
After I made this video, I've been thinking about this topic. Did Wuthering Waves become too good to criticize? And that basically comes from some of the points that I brought up in that video, and also some of the comments that I got.
Primo okay, so they called him a Ohio shill for making what video?
And that basically did.
Oh, hang on.
So after I made this video,
the biggest problems with Wuthering Waves. Okay, I've not seen that. But 10 Primo Gems being deposited. Crazy. Okay, so
people were saying that, in other words,
still going to go in
kind of
with an open mind.
And honestly, I tend to agree. Some of the points that I brought up were indeed nitpicks. Also, there were a few things that I completely forgot to mention.
Thing is, you can nitpick a game as long as it's valid, right? Not talking about how WuWa has racism because it has no black characters, like what we just discussed about today. I think that is a wrong thing to do, but you can nitpick certain things. Like, that's what you have to do with these games sometimes, because again, WuWa is that good that it covers a lot of the areas well. But there are a lot of things, small things, that you have to criticize, and usually they're nitpicks. Like, WuWa enemies, right? you know, HP inflation in tower. And a lot of this stuff is small. They never, again, I said this in a previous video, they never do big fumbles, WuWa. They never fumble big. They always fumble small, like the transducers, like, negative statuses. That stuff is small, right? Maybe negative status is a bit bigger, right? But again, WuWa is built from criticism. They are so right, by the way. WuWa is literally built from criticism. They are so right, honestly. That is a mega statement, by the way. I don't know if you guys, but my webcam's lagging like crazy. Like, am I just on like 15 frames per second right now? Let me just reset it real quick, because I hate the fact that I'm seeing myself, like, it's like I'm in the friggin' Into the Spider-Verse. My frame rate's just down. I swear if this becomes a toxic positivity video, I hope not. I hope they have genuine points. Oh, my PC, yeah. Exactly like that. Okay, it seems to me that it's stabilized now. Maybe. Okay, we're good. Okay. So yeah, let's just see what they have to say first, right?
That video. For example, story lock progression. If you get a new character, you still need to progress to the story to unlock some of the materials.
They fixed that with the whole, the flower synthesizing thing. They've actually somewhat fixed that, which is a problem I had, mind you. It's a problem that I put in the surveys, right? You know, the character echoes, right? Let's say you got Hiyuki when she came out. You had to skip till a high Roy and then also do all the way up to 3.3 story and do a bit of 3.3 story as well. So I think having early access to both flowers and echoes, tacit fields, is a great thing.
Needed to level them up, or at least get far enough to be able to buy those materials from the shop. And even after you unlock the shop, you can't always buy everything immediately. Most times you need to wait multiple weeks before you can get enough materials to fully max out the character. So that is definitely a valid criticism. Some events are also story locked, and yeah, those were some of the things that I forgot to mention before.
Some events are story locked. I think that's fine. I have no problem with that.
But even the nitpicking comments, when you ran out of all of these critiques, they become kind of valid because you want your game to strive towards perfection. So if some of those things are fixable, then why not call it out? Like, unless they are literally unfixable, I don't see a reason to not call it out. But going back to the main point, did Wuthering Waves become too good to criticize? Or maybe that's not the right way to put it, because I don't think the game literally became too good to criticize.
No, the game is never too good to criticize, right? Never.
Wuthering Waves reached a certain point where criticizing it became a lot harder, because when you try to criticize Wuthering Waves today, you really need to dig deep. There isn't really that one big issue anymore that everybody...
Exactly. That's what I just said, right? That's what I just said. I think he hit the nail on the head there. WuWa covers everything very well to a point where you actually have to dig deep, get into these, nitty-bitty issues. There's obviously always room for improvement, absolutely, like optimization, etc., all that stuff, right? But you genuinely have to dig deep, right? Not everyone has optimization issues. Not everyone has issues with the tower. Not everyone has issues with WuWa because they have certain characters, right? All these things, they aren't big, they aren't massive, like, I don't know, like a... What could be a game-breaking thing that WuWa could do, right? I don't know, make the game 200 gigabytes? Like, there you go. Speaking of, 3.5 is 79 gigabytes. Wait, the whole game size? That's crazy. That's brilliant. There you go. Devs listened.
everybody can point at and agree is bad. Or at the very least, there are a lot less of them. But back then, when the game launched, that wasn't the case. We had the lack of tuners, echo upgrading, all the excessive clicking
Exactly,
when trying to upgrade echoes. We had things that pretty much everybody agreed.
Delete the 50-50. To be honest, I see this get chucked around a lot now, right? I think I am obviously an advocate for deleting the 50-50. However, once you delete the 50-50, everyone who has lost 50-50s will be complaining. Right? Because you'll have the people that lost 50-50s and then had to pay to get characters, right? Unless, right, let's just say, right, they compensate everybody who lost a 50-50 by giving them copies of characters that they would have gained otherwise, then I don't think taking the 50-50 out is feasible. Obviously, it'd be great, right? In a perfect world, right, taking the 50-50 out would be great. It would. But I just don't think it's feasible. I just don't think it is. They can refund the character and give Astrites based on how many pulls it took. True. They could. They could, but it would be... brother, they'd lose so much money from that. They'd lose so much money. They'd lose so much money. No 50-50 from older character banners would be feasible. More feasible. Yeah, like, let's just say that next time they do, like, the rerun banners, right, they make the first 5-star guaranteed. The first limited 5-star guaranteed. I think that's fine. I think that's totally fine. And also, I think my webcam's bugging out right now. Yep. Bastard! Why? God! It's the cable, because I have to put an adapter into my computer. And it's the adapter that's doing it, because it's a lightning, it's a USB-C cable. And I have no USB-C port in my computer, so I have to use an adapter. Alright, we're good now. Refunding would be difficult since everybody spent different amounts of currency after losing 50-50. Exactly. You know how many people they'd have to refund and how much money they'd lose? I just don't see it as possible. The only thing that they could do is do the rerun banners and then add like a one-time 100% rate up. That's all they could do.
Were issues. If you complain about those things, most people would agree with you. But today, it's different, because most of the things that you can criticize are things that almost every gacha game already does. And that's where the things get interesting, because at that point, is it really a Wuthering Waves problem, or is it a gacha industry problem? That's
like a 50-50, apart from obviously NTE, right? Apart from NTE, every gacha, most gachas use a 50-50. First of all, WuWa can delete the 50-50 and create skins to supplement. No, but they can't. Not everybody's going to buy a skin. Unless they're really good. I mean, hell, I would personally, but not everybody has the cash. Plus, people that are free-to-play lose 50-50s, right? And the free-to-play players aren't just going to buy skins. Unfortunately, it's not a perfect world. We can't just ban 50-50s and have it work. The only thing that they could do is have the rerun banners and have it 100% rate up for the first unit that you pull. I think that's fair. Because we have to realize that it is a gacha. Or they do what Genshin did and did the whole capturing radiance thing. I think that would actually be good as well. There are a few things that they could do, but removing the 50-50 entirely, I don't think it's feasible. No.
question.
Not for the game and like currency wise, but because they have to, first of all, give everything back to the people that lost the 50-50s, right? But also, first of all, it's hard to keep track of that. Why are we being cooked to 50-50? No, you're missing the point. Do we want 50-50s in games? No. NTE did it really well. NTE did it so well, right? But you can't just remove a 50-50 from a gacha game that's been out for 2 and 3 years. You just can't do that. You can bend the rules, but you just can't do that. As much as it'd be lovely, right, for us to, you know, all be happy-go-lucky, you know, pull the unit and we get it, right? We don't have to lose 50-50. It's not feasible for the company. 50-50 is bad. They're objectively bad. Absolutely. They are objectively bad. But at the end of the day, it's either you're in or you're out. And unfortunately, WuWa's out, right? WuWa's out of the 100% rate up. They can only bend the rules, I'm afraid. Because again, I'm sure so many people, especially in China, right? If they all of a sudden strip the 50-50 in like 4.x, a lot of people will be pissed. I believe that would be, you know. They can do what Ether Gazer did, add 2 years old limited characters into the regular banner. Yeah, they could, yeah. That would help. It would just stop the rerun banners, I suppose. They can do a few things to sort of supplement, but they can't straight up just remove it, right?
Because even the issues that Wuthering Waves shares with other gachas are usually handled better than in a lot of those games. If you look at the mainstream gacha market right now, Wuthering Waves is competitive in basically every category. Sure, you can point out specific things, maybe Honkai Star Rail gives out more characters, maybe ZZZ has better relic or artifact management system, but from what I've seen, the cycling gear is definitely more convenient there. And if you're into that, like me, some people would say that ZZZ has more fan service. So sure, there are individual things that other games do better, but they are usually very specific things. Because when you look at the overall package, Wuthering Waves is competing at the highest level, which is why most criticism today end up becoming either personal preference or nitpicking. Not because the game is perfect, but because most of the major issues have already been fixed. And recently, the Cyberpunk collaboration only reinforced that feeling. So I recently finished the story, and even before finishing it, I was already seeing people saying that it was really faithful to the Cyberpunk IP. It was just really overall well made. And after playing it, I will say the first half was very cool when it comes to the interactions between the characters from Cyberpunk and the characters from Wuthering Waves. But the real juice is in the second half. That's the real part that, in my opinion, is more made for Cyberpunk fans. And it's overall a good build-up and a good payoff. But yeah, even the character designs are pretty well made. You can tell that a lot of care went into making these characters. Even small details show that, for example, Lucy's agile animation, you can immediately tell that they understand what kind of character they're working in. They didn't just throw Cyberpunk characters into Wuthering Waves and call it a day. They actually put effort into it. They also gave Rebecca away for free, and she's not just some throwaway character. She's actually a really good unit, and depending on what happens in the future, she might end up becoming even more valuable. So when I look at the direction this game is going, honestly, it just looks good. The only thing that really worries people right now is power creep, but even then, that's more of a future concern. It's a what could happen issue.
Yeah, it is a what could happen issue. I mean, as long as it doesn't get too rampant to a point where, you know, old characters are completely sort of, you know, alienated, right? Then it you know, power creep is necessary, but as long as it's not too big, right? I'm good, man. Thank you, Rise Up. How's my day? It's still going. It's just about to go 3 p.m. here. Brill, brill, brill.
The what is happening issue, because if you look at the game right now, the character balance is actually pretty solid overall. Sure, some characters age like milk, that's normal, but you can also find examples that go against power creep argument. For example, Anchor. In some Tower of Adversity scenarios, Anchor can actually outperform Camellia because of quick swap teams. Honestly, seeing a standard banner character outperform limited characters in certain situations is crazy. That's not something you normally see in gacha games. So even the power creep discussion isn't as clear-cut as some people make it sound. However, after making this whole script for my video, I've seen that the recent TOA has had some complaints about HP
Yeah,
inflation.
that Lampy Lumen is
again,
fat.
it's another common gacha thing. This is not a Wuthering Waves thing, but I just want to really say that I haven't played it yet, but regardless, if they don't give you buffs to compensate for that HP inflation, I think you should 100% give the feedback to Kuro, call it out, and say that you're not happy about this change. So yeah, a bit of tangent here, because it's really important to call out before it becomes an even bigger problem than it already is. And now coming back to the video, then you have Lucilla, a character that besides supporting Glacier Shave,
why is it not pausing? Okay. That is why I put it in the surveys, right? As soon as I sort of knew that, hey, this is a bit big, right? The Lampy Lumen is a bit big fat. I put it in the surveys, just like, you know, stop aggressive HP inflation, like, you know, nip it in the bud type shit, right?
Supports echo damage teams, and she's also not directly power creeping existing support because she kinda fills a different role, has a different playstyle, and there's space for Q1 on your account if you have 2 or more echo DPS characters, which is exactly how these characters should be designed. So once again, the overall direction of the game just looks really good, and that's why I think the statement Wuthering Waves became too good to criticize, while not 100% true, it's also not crazy to say, but I think it
that's why I'm
point...
reacting to this video, because when you see that title you think, oh wow, bold, but there is a slight truth to it. Obviously, you know, no game is above criticism, and I will remain saying that, right? No matter how good Wuthering Waves is, I'll remain saying that no game is above criticism, because it isn't. But to have WuWa, like, be so good that you have to nitpick, it gives truth to the statement, which is good and bad, because, you know, no game should be too good to criticize.
Where most of the remaining criticisms falls into one of 3 categories: personal preference, nitpicks, or problems that affect the entire gacha genre. And that's a very different situation from where the game was at launch, because 2 years ago people were asking if Wuthering Waves was going to survive. Today we're debating whether there are enough problems left to criticize in the first place. And honestly, that's probably one of the biggest complaints you can give a live service game. Anyways, those are my thoughts. If you want to see some of the other criticism that I talked about before, you can check out my previous video, and I'll see you in the next one. Also, don't forget to subscribe and join our Discord. And bro, I
go subscribe to GHP, man. I think they said it really well.
The worst time, right after the TOA controversy. Anyways.
Yeah, honestly, I think they said it really well. Again, video links in the description. Closing thoughts of this one. Is WuWa too good to criticize? No. Is it good? Yes. Is there a bit of truth to the statement? Yes. As long as it's good criticism, absolutely. We should always be criticizing the game. As long as it's actual good and based criticism, that is. But yeah, no, I think he has a perfect point there. So yeah, credits to him. And thank you for watching. Yeah, good critic video, absolutely. Before I continue, I'm just going to turn graphics acceleration off, because it is making my webcam lag. He didn't mention biblical levels of greed. You're so right. God's sake. All gas, no brakes. All facts, no lies. All ass, no brakes. Where's the gas? I don't know. Alright, it should... Oh, okay, it's not coming back up now. Is my webcam not fixed? Okay, it seems a bit better. All ass, no fart. Okay, yeah. Well, we're not starting off with VXV, first of all.
When a gacha game...
Okay. This will be a more general one now, but I think it's a very, very valid point. But before we go for the validity.
Doggy! Oh, Coco, hello. Hello. Oh, look at that face.
Oh, hang on. Get a better. Oh, look at that. Look at that little doggy. Say hello. Hang on. Let's watch this. Do you want... No? She. Corgi? No. She's a Chihuahua Jack Russell, we think. Cute white cat. Do you want... Doggies? Walkies? Female. Walkies? Walkies? Her ears are going. But she doesn't like she doesn't like being on my knee. It's too high. She has a fear of heights. At least not when she's not when she's uncomfortable. Her name is Coco. Hey, Coco. It's like mint all over again. Anyways, you relax. You relax, you. Right, it's 3 o'clock, so I probably got 2 more videos in me. So, okay. Maybe 3, actually.
I don't think Meng's...
Okay. So, actually, no. I'll keep this for another time, because that is a very serious topic, and I don't want to rush through it. Okay, now we are delving into the lore side. Now, we have a video from Writer's Tale here, and it says, a real story isn't the new region, it's what it changes. So basically saying that the region is the story, like what it changes, right? I mean, the title is self-explanatory. I'm not going to try and make sense of it. But, again, I will be watching this, and again, I'll be pausing it. So if you guys want to watch it in full, then linked in the description, and there is a fly in here. That's great. I just killed it. Nice. So, yeah, without any further ado, full credit to Writer's Tale. Let's begin.
Mengzo's biggest opportunity has anything to do with Mengzo. Now,
More than
that
another
probably sounds
region.
ridiculous.
I love
After
it, by
all,
the way.
new
I
region,
love
new
the look of
characters,
Monjo.
new story. That's what everyone, including me, was looking at. Until I realized I was looking in the wrong place. The part that actually interests me is what Mengzo could mean for Wuthering Waves' main conflict. Because for a while now, I had one major criticism of this game's story. And the strange thing is, I don't think I've been explaining it properly. I kept saying the conflict felt repetitive, but after reading a lot of your comments, I think I finally figured out why that explanation always felt incomplete. And weirdly enough, it has almost nothing to do with the conflict itself.
Really? Okay. I'm interested for what he has to say. Because again, I like hearing these sort of takes, because it is interesting to sort of wrap your mind around it. But before we continue, my webcam is still friggin' lagging. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try the 3.0 slot again. It all started once I put the friggin' the webcam into a non... Oh, is it not lagging? Was it not jittery? I mean, now it's off at the minute. Hang on, I have an idea. I'll see if it works. Mind around it. But before we continue, my webcam is still friggin' lagging. Oh, wow. Okay, that's interesting. So it's my end that's doing it. Thank you guys. Thanks for letting me know about that. Okay, Natural Beautiful, I'm assuming that you are, you are the guy that was complaining about removing 50/50s. I did not block you. That was one of my moderators because you were clearly making a disturbance in chat. Eden's Garden. Fine, by all means, become my biggest hater. Right? You can live in Dreamland. You can live in Fairyland. Whatever you want. You can't just get rid of a 50/50. You can't just remove it permanently. No, Heineken, by the way they reacted, you clearly did the right thing. Okay, it seems to be fine now, but I guess we'll just continue because I thought it was lagging the whole time, but it's just my end. I guess it's just my Streamlabs. Okay, let's go.
The more I looked at everything Kuro showed during the 3.5 livestream, the more I kept coming back to the same thought. I don't think Mengzo is just another region. Actually, I think it might be the biggest opportunity Wuthering Waves has had since launch. And the reason has nothing to do with the new characters, or the new city, or even the new story. It has to do with the main conflict. Now, if you've been watching this channel for a while, you probably already know this is the one criticism I keep coming back to whenever I talk about Wuthering Waves, even though it's still my favorite gacha game. But here's the funny thing, over the last few months, I've been reading a lot of your comments. Some people agreed with me, some people completely disagreed, and honestly, I think both sides accidentally helped me realize something. I don't think I've been explaining my own criticism very well. Because if I can't explain why something isn't working for me, then maybe I don't understand it as well as I thought. Now, whenever I said the conflict felt repetitive, someone would eventually ask, isn't that true for almost every long-running story? And yeah, they're right. Think about anime, think about fantasy novels, think about web novels. Some of them
the conflict is repetitive in a sense where, you know, you go up against a Thrunodi in every region, right? I think that's the repetitive part, absolutely.
Have enough chapters to qualify as a lifestyle. Most of them spend hundreds of chapters revolving around one central conflict. The heroes are still trying to stop the villain. The villain is still chasing the same goal. The overall objective barely changes. So why has that never bothered me? At first, I thought I already had the answer. Well, it's because those stories introduce new villains. Simple, except the more I sat with that explanation, the less convinced I became. Because plenty of stories introduce new villains and still feel repetitive. So clearly, that wasn't the real difference. I kept thinking about it for a while, trying to figure out why one recurring conflict keeps me completely invested while another slowly starts feeling predictable. And weirdly enough, the comparison that finally made everything click wasn't another game, it was chess. Think about two different chess matches. Both players are trying to do exactly the same thing, checkmate. That objective never changes. But in the first game, every few turns something important happens. A queen is sacrificed, a rook gets trapped, someone suddenly changes strategy because the entire board looks different than it did 5 minutes ago. The goal hasn't changed, but the state of the game has. Now imagine another match. The objective is still checkmate, but every few turns, both players move a pawn. Nobody loses a major piece, nobody changes strategy, nobody is forced to rethink what they're doing. Technically, it's still chess. But after 20 moves, the board barely looks different. And that's when it finally clicked for me. I don't actually think my problem with Wuthering Waves is that it keeps returning to the same conflict. Most long-running stories do exactly that. The problem is that I rarely feel like the board itself has changed. We arrive in a new region, another crisis begins, another important member of the Fractious appears. We stop the immediate disaster, they disappear, we leave for the next region. Yes, the world keeps getting bigger, and honestly, some of the character conflicts Kuro has written recently have been fantastic, but when the story settles down and we zoom back out, it often feels like the overall position hasn't moved all that much. The Fractious are still working toward the same mysterious goal, we're still reacting to another phase of that plan, and by the time we leave the region,
That's what I'm saying, right? That's why I said a few videos ago, I said it in a video, I said that we need to start taking the Fractious head on now. We need to be doing that. Hopefully new Fed we're going to do that, right? I think that's the perfect time because, you know, it's mainly under Fractious control, right? I think it's the perfect time to take, you know, the Fractious head on because we need to. Ultimately, they are proliferating Thrunodians. They are proliferating the Lament. right? They're trying to just make the world a worse place. So if we go after them, and we beat them, wound them, whatever, right? It'll do us good.
It feels like the conflict itself has entered a completely new stage, which brings me back to Mengzo, because if there's ever been a moment where Wuthering Waves could finally change the board, I honestly think we're standing right in front of it. So, what would changing the board actually look like? Ironically, I don't think the answer starts with the Fractious. I think it starts with Huanglong, or more specifically, with where we're going next. When Kuro first revealed Shuangfang Hold, I think most people, including me, looked at it the same way we look at every new area. It's simply the next destination. The place will spend the next few updates before moving somewhere else.
Yeah.
But after sitting with everything we learned from the livestream, I started looking at it differently. Because Shuangfang Hold isn't just another region, it's a connection. It's the point where Jinzhou and Mengzhou meet, a city built through the combined efforts
Yeah,
of
I'm expecting like a lot of lore links now. I'm sure that the lore channels will love this region. They really will.
Major cities to stop a tacit Discord outbreak. And that's when something struck me. This isn't really the beginning of Mengzhou. It's the moment Huanglong finally starts feeling like one nation. I think that's an important distinction.
Exactly.
Because for almost 2 years, every major update has felt like its own chapter. We started in Jinzhou, then we traveled to Rinascita. We've just finished La Hairoi. Every destination felt like another stop on Rover's journey. But Huanglong was never just Jinzhou. Jinzhou is only one city. Now we're stepping toward the second. And after Mengzhou, there are still 4 more major cities waiting for us. Think about that for a second.
Yeah,
We've spent 2 years exploring Wuthering Waves. We've crossed entire nations. We've experienced completely different civilizations. We've watched the world become bigger with every major update. And we're only now arriving at Huanglong's second city. Second, when that finally sank in, I realized we've barely explored this nation at all. And I think that's where this video's question really changes. Because now, I'm no longer asking whether Mengzhou can change the board. I'm asking whether the board has quietly become much bigger than the conflict that's being played on it. Think about everything Huanglong already has. 6 major cities, 6 sentinels, different cultures, different histories, different leaders, different priorities. There's so much room for tension to naturally exist without introducing a brand new villain, because people don't have to hate each other to disagree. Imagine 2 sentinels who both genuinely want to protect Huanglong. One believes protecting the nation means preserving everything that's made it strong. The other believes survival means changing before it's too late. Neither one has to be evil, neither one has to secretly work for the Fractious. They are simply trying to protect the same nation in completely different ways. That's conflict, real conflict, the kind that grows out of the world itself instead of arriving from outside it. And honestly, I don't think Wuthering Waves could have told that kind of story 2 years ago. Not because the writers weren't capable of it, but because the world wasn't ready for it yet.
Yeah,
now
too complex
it is.
for the world
The
building
world
that
has
was at the
become so
time.
much larger, so much more interconnected. And for the first time, it feels like all the pieces are finally on the board. Which also means something else. For the first time since launch, I don't think Wuthering Waves needs a bigger world anymore. I think it needs a bigger conflict. Okay, let's say I'm right. Let's say Huanglong really has reached the point where it can support another major conflict alongside Fractious. What does that actually look like? Because I think that's the much
infighting between the cities, perhaps, right? I think that's like, you know, Route 1. I think that's like the easiest thing to do, right?
more interesting question. And honestly, I don't think there's only one answer. That's why one particular theory keeps making me think. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it too.
Civil War,
The
yeah.
idea that eventually one of the Sentinels is going to betray Huanglong. And every time I read that theory, my first reaction is always the same. Yeah, that could actually be really cool. But the more I think about it, the more I feel like there's an even more interesting version of that story. Not a Sentinel who betrays Huanglong, a Sentinel who never does. Remember the example we talked about a minute ago? 2 Sentinels who both genuinely believe they're protecting Huanglong, but completely disagree on what that actually means.
Yeah.
Now imagine that disagreement doesn't end in one chapter. Imagine it becoming a conflict that slowly grows as we explore the rest of Huanglong.
It can fester, right? It can fester. That's the thing, when you unlock more of these cities, right? you will eventually end up having this sort of festering conflict that will eventually reach its apex, right? Yeah, like Avengers Civil War, exactly, right? You'll have Jinshi fighting Shin because of their opposing beliefs. That's pretty cool, actually.
Long. That's the version that really excites me, not because someone has to be right, but because both sides could be. And even if Kuro decides to tie one of the Sentinels back to Fractious, I still think there's a stronger version of that story. Not the Sentinel being manipulated, but the Sentinel willingly choosing that side because they genuinely believe is the only way to save Huanglong. That wouldn't just create another boss fight, it would change Fractious themselves.
Well, it's like, we can go one step further. I think it's a sort of, well, you know, Thanos. I was going to say, you know, all this stuff. Just Thanos, guys. They believed what they were doing was right for the universe, right? By wiping out half of all life. They believed it was right to stop overpopulation. And in a way, he did. In a way, he did. He believed what he was doing was right, but he was framed as the villain. What if we get a Sentinel that does the same? Kind of like the Tethys system, but more sort of, you know, more ambiguity about it. Because again, the Tethys system was trying to protect humanity, but there was no real nuance about it, right? Whereas Thanos, for instance, plenty. So again, I think there's room for potential in that.
Because until now, so much of their threat has come from manipulation. But if one of Huanglong's own protectors chose them willingly, now we're talking about ideology, belief, about a conflict that grows naturally instead of being forced.
Perspective and
but
morality,
honestly,
exactly,
those are just examples. Maybe it isn't the Sentinels at all, maybe it's the conflict between the cities, maybe it's an entirely new faction, or maybe it's something none of us have never even imagined yet. While I was writing this video, I realized I was making the exact same mistake I'd made at the beginning. I kept trying to define what the next conflict should be. I honestly don't care what form it takes. What excites me is the possibility that Huanglong has finally become large enough to carry another major conflict for years to come. A conflict that doesn't replace Fractious, but stands beside them. Because I actually think that's how you make Fractious stronger, not weaker. Imagine a Huanglong that's already dealing with its own long-term struggles. Different cities pulling in different directions, different ideals competing with one another, different people believing they're doing the right thing. Fractious wouldn't need to create every crisis anymore. Sometimes, they'd only need to exploit one that already exists. Suddenly, every move they make matters more, not because the villains became stronger, but because the board itself became more complicated. And that's exactly why I started this video by talking about chess. At the beginning, I said my problem wasn't that Wuthering Waves kept playing the same game.
This guy is a 5-star level chef, because he's cooked a great narrative throughout this video, I can't lie.
It was that the board rarely changed. Well, for the first time since launch, I think Kuro has finally built a board where 20 moves from now, the game could look completely different. And honestly, that's why I keep coming back to this discussion. I honestly think this game deserves something bigger. Not necessarily a bigger villain or a louder story, just another major conflict. Another source of momentum. Another reason for the world to keep changing, even when Fractious aren't making the next move. Everything else has already grown. The characters, the world, the storytelling. Now, I just want the conflict to grow alongside them. And if Mengzo becomes the beginning of that, whether it's through the Sentinels, through Huanglong itself, through an entirely new faction, or through something none of us have even imagined yet, I genuinely think we'll look back on it as one of the most important turning points Wuthering Waves has ever had. Not because it introduced another region, but because it opened the door to a completely new stage of storytelling. Maybe none of this happens. Maybe Mengzo ends up being another self-contained original story. Maybe the conflict stays exactly the way it's always been. And honestly, that's completely possible. I'm not making this video because I think I figured out exactly where Wuthering Waves is going. I'm making it because, for the first time in a long time, I feel like the story has reached a point where almost anything feels possible. Not because the mysteries have become bigger, but because the world has. And if Kuro really decides to take advantage of everything they've spent the last 2 years building, then I honestly think Mengzo could become one of the most important turning points in Wuthering Waves' story. Maybe I'm completely wrong. I'd actually be happy to be, because at the end of the day, what I want more than being right is to be surprised. So now I want to hear from you. Do you think Mengzo is simply the next chapter, or do you think this is the beginning of a completely new phase for Wuthering Waves' story?
I like this narrative that we've got going on here. Would I like it? Like exactly how Writer's Tale said? Probably. I think it'd be very, very cool, right? To have this sort of infighting, or like one of the Sentinels like betraying the norm because that's what they believe in, adding morality, adding perspective. I think that'd be very, very cool. I'm not going to lie. Will it happen? We'll have to wait and see. Do I think it will happen? Probably not. I don't think it will. But this is the sort of the potential of having, a region next to one that we've already been to, right? Different cities, different ideologies, different ways of thinking. So it's possible. And, I think it'd be really good if they did it. So yeah, brilliant video by A Writer's Tale. Go show them some love. Videos in the description. Thank you so much for watching. That was really good, actually. That's a brain tickler. It's a brain tickler, that one.
With the recent...
Oh, fat fluffy penguin. Okay. So this video is an interesting one. Now, I rarely do lore video analysis, but I wanted to give Fat Fluffy Penguin a bit of a spotlight here. Now, again, videos in the description. Go watch their video before watching mine, right? Don't use mine as a substitute. Go watch theirs first. But Shin is a really interesting character because she is the first ever Sentinel. Playable Sentinel, right? She's not a Sentinel Resonator. She is the Sentinel, right? So I want to hear what they have to say. What is Shin based on, right? Story analysis, of course, because Fat Fluffy Penguin is genuinely the best at this stuff. So yeah, again, link to the description. Let's begin.
With the recent Wuthering Waves 3.5 livestream, while we got to see plenty of fascinating things about Mengzhou and Shuangfang, we barely got any screen time of one of the most anticipated characters on the region, being the Sentinel Sin. While I have talked about Sin already in prior videos, I thought that since everyone is very eager to learn more about her, that I'd compile and discuss the symbolism.
I love how he's got like freaking WuWa idol animations in his video. That's very cute, actually.
Both confirmed and potential of her design. We'll be splitting this video into a couple of parts. First, talking about how the 7 Sentinels of Huanglong play into real Chinese mythology, before going and discussing fox spirits in Chinese culture, and finally, potential links to figures such as Wu Zetian. So, without any further ado, let's get started. The 7 Sentinels of Huanglong, of which we know 3, Fang, the Solar Hare, Jue, the Wood Jiaolong, and of course the subject of today's video, Sin, the Moon Fox, are confirmed to comprise...
The Sun Hare. Obviously that's a rabbit, right? So it'd be like a rabbit type, if that makes sense.
...of a certain group in Chinese mythology, the 7 Mansions of the Azure Dragon, or Qianlong. In ancient China, astrologers observe how it took around...
It feels like I'm in school. It feels like I'm in school watching a little presentation. This is great.
28 days for the moon to rotate around the Earth, and as such believe that the moon resides on Earth in a mansion every night, hence the Chinese astrology system of the 28 mansions. This was further subdivided into the 4 cardinal directions, north, east, south, and west, which were all represented by a mythical beast and a palace. This was meant to represent a constellation and star chart, with each of the 7 mansions representing a body part of their palace, in this case, the Azure Dragon. You can actually also associate elements and animals to each of these 28 mansions in a graph, which gives us the full list and names of what Huanglong's 7 Sentinels are going to be. Jue, the Wood Jiaolong, Kang, the Metal Dragon, Di, the Earth Badger, Fang, the Solar Hare, Sin, the Moon Fox, Wei, the Fire Tiger, and Ji, the Water Leopard.
Interesting. Okay. That is interesting, actually. So, if that's true, then we'll get a Metal Dragon?
Considering that the 3 Sentinels we've gotten are perfect match, especially since Kuro in the 3.5 stream explicitly called Sin the Moon Fox. This is
True.
only further confirmation that Huanglong Sentinels are operating on this Chinese mythological system. So, now you know the mythological basis of what Sin is based on, and why exactly she is a moon fox. Now we can get into the juicy bits. What she may be based on as a sort of fox spirit. However, before we continue, I want to point you quickly towards Chun-Li. When we first saw her story, it was actually mentioned that she combined many aspects of Chinese firebirds, the Fenghuang, the Vermilion Bird, and the Phoenix, together to form her powers and character.
Yeah.
I actually think that Sin may be a similar case. It's basically confirmed she is a moon fox, but I think she may also take a lot of inspiration from many different parts of Chinese culture and mythology. Primary among these, of course, is the Wuthering, or in other words, simply Chinese fox spirits. If you, for instance, recognize the Japanese Kitsune or Korean Gumiho, this is actually what they were originally based on. Now, Wuthering, which usually, but not always, have 9 tails, are both at times a good and bad
Also, people theorize that that's her tacit mark right there. The tacit mark is on her tail. If I just quickly go back, that's her tacit mark on her tail like that. People theorize that anyways.
Have 9 tails, are both at times a good and bad omen. While the Wuthering was seen as sometimes hunting and eating humans, hence the wider Asian trend of fox people eating your liver and stuff, Chinese fox spirits could also be blessings of good fortune, symbolizing peace, prosperity, and good health. They were quite ambiguous creatures, and that molds into one of their key abilities, being shape-shifting.
True, they don't have the typical
By growing
marks, do they?
older and sort of absorbing the essence of the universe, they would unlock this ability which they could use for a lot of things, getting closer with people, tricking them, etc. This is the most likely reason why, for instance, Sin is capable of shapeshifting into a human figure, while it seems like all the other Sentinels could not. As a Wuthering
no
grows older and more
Umumusame
powerful,
for Imperator.
shapeshifting just comes as a kind of natural ability to them. Now that we've established...
Well, that's the thing, right? I don't know if it'll get explained in this video, right? But foxes are usually sort of like themed around like play, right? Playful foxes. Shin looks like the type of, character to be like playful, sort of like flirtatious in a way, right? Trickery, yeah. So of course, her being able to shift into a human form would actually make sense because that's trickery in a way, right? Pranksters, yeah.
What Chinese fox spirits generally are, we can start talking about Sin herself, who we know from the lore is rather playful and mischievous, like what you'd expect a fox spirit to be. However, she also seems very powerful, considering that she is not only a sentinel, but that the 3.5 livestream said she directly created the auto puppets that allow Xuanfang to function. Additionally, her line in the drip marketing, "Clear moonlight drapes over the lonely keep," is very ominous. The moonlight may be a link to Sin herself as a moon fox,
Probably,
but
yeah.
the lonely keep in Chinese culture has always connoted a kind of cut off and isolated fort or town, facing attacks and a desperate situation. For example, a Song of Liang...
I just want to point out real quick that this is genuinely some deep research stuff. I just want to give full credit to them again. I know I'm pausing the video for it, but genuinely, I think it's so good. I think it really is. I think it really is. All right, Donnie, see you later. Don't know if you've gone yet, but see you. I honestly think that we need more of this stuff because this is genuinely real good research. I feel like such a scammer reacting to this video, but I do want to get educated. And you guys should get educated as well. I mean, obviously the video's in the description if you guys want to watch it yourself, but yeah, I think this is genuinely some real good stuff.
Zhou by Wang Zihuan describes a border fortress that is under constant attack. Yet, despite the terrible situation, they still cling on and hold their position.
Life
So,
Lessons does, yeah.
based on the situation
Life
that
Lessons and Fat
Chuan
Fluffy
and
Penguin,
Sin
absolutely.
is facing, I think that she is most likely not just a mischievous character, but one that may be rather jaded, having to have made hard decisions in ruling over and protecting her people. So,
my best guess is her mischief is like a facade, right? Whereas in reality, she's cunning. Like a fox, for instance. Like a fox.
while many people saw that Sin may be based on the evil fox spirit Daji from the old Chinese book Investigation of the Gods, I have a bit of a hard time believing that Sin is really a inherently evil character. I don't think that
I
this
think
is
she might be
actually
sly,
the case.
but she's not evil.
With this in mind, I think that there is, however, a Chinese novel published in the Qing dynasty that Sin's character may be more likely based on, named Flowers in the Mirror or Jinghuayang. This novel is special as it tells a story of the only empress in Chinese history, Wuthering, being none other than a reincarnation of a fox spirit.
Oh.
What's special about this book is that unlike other stories like Daji from Investigation of the Gods, this fox spirit is specifically and none other than the Moon Heart Fox from the Seven Mansions of the Azure Dragon, who we know is Sin. Throughout the book, Wuthering, or Sin in extension, is depicted in many of the same ways we now see her historical counterparts. She's wise, capable, and incredibly cunning. All the things
like a fox. Like a fox, and probably what Sin is going to be like. Absolutely, yeah.
you would expect from a fox spirit. However, one aspect from history still remains in the book, in that Wu Zetian is often portrayed as an oppressive ruler. So she was a very competent tyrant, but a tyrant nonetheless. When we link the depiction of Wu Zetian from Jinghuayang to what Sin represents as the Heart Moon Fox, it actually makes quite a bit of sense. As the heart of the Azure Dragon, she is mischievous, emotional, and willful, but also, quite importantly, cunning and shrewd. All qualities which makes an awful lot of sense when we think about why she is often connected to Wu Zetian, especially since Sin in Wuthering Waves also appears as a ruler and de facto queen of a city.
Yeah.
So what could this mean for Wuthering Waves? Of course, we know that Sin is oftentimes mischievous and cunning, probably also charming, since she seems to be based on Wu Lijing and all that. But I think, interestingly, there is a darker side to her character. Given what we've talked about with the Lonely Keep in Chinese culture, as well as the dangers we know are assailing Mengzhou and Shuangfang already from the 3.5 stream.
I mean, there never is just a playful character in this game. There's always a dark side. There always is.
I predict that perhaps Sin may be a little bit autocratic, maybe in some small part a tyrant. After all, such things are probably necessary for controlling and maintaining such a tenuous border town for so long. In the tiny amount of screen time that Sin got, we even saw her laying down by paper lanterns, which, in Chinese culture, symbolize letting go, whether that is past attachments, regrets, or even spirits of those who have passed. Something fishy is definitely going on, and it may be that this fox is not as sweet as she seems. But what do you
Cunning, hey? That is interesting.
think? We'll see how Shuanfang and Mengzhou shapes up to be, but it already feels like it's gonna be a very long wait for something that feels just in front of our noses. As always, if you want to support me, feel free to subscribe, become a channel member, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. I hope you all have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you all
too,
in the next one.
Yeah, I can fix our comments incoming. For real. Oh god. No, I think they have. I think they're probably right. I think that's about as accurate as it can be, right? I think honestly that Sin probably would be like that. Now, I'm not sure about the tyrant part, but absolutely sort of the the sly, cunning, and playful part. Obviously, we know that she's playful, but I think there's more to it. I do think there is more to it. So I think they're right. Although we'll see in like a week's time. Bro's Kuro right to himself. I'm telling you, yeah, exactly. But no, big credits to Fat Fluffy Penguin. I am educated. Thank you. Big credits to them. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Oh, guys, I'm gonna be a headache now. I can fix her. She can fix me. Hey, we can fix each other. Oh dear. Oh. Who said she needs fixing? Oh, true. Let's keep her like that, actually. Yeah, tyrannical for her own sake. Again. Hey, let's combine the videos now, right? She could be tyrannical, and Jue not like that. Civil war. Just like that. Immediately. Right? My views of saving Huanglong are different compared to yours, therefore we must have conflict. Sentinels aren't really mech. Well, they kind of are, but the thing is that they're like otherworldly. Right? They're otherworldly to a point where we can't really comprehend it, right? Plus, they are just frequencies at the end of the day. So they can really just take whatever form they want, right? Oh, dearie me. Here we go. Wuthering Waves, Civil War. Yeah, then we're going to get Wuthering Waves, Infinity War. Then Wuthering Waves, Endgame. But yeah, no, I think I'm going to call it there for today, guys. It is a bit of a shorter stream. But I've got quite a few videos to edit it. Edit now. I've got quite a few videos to edit. So thank you all so much for coming. I've had a great time. I've had a great time. And no, I think, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for a lot of games now. I am. This live stream's been great. Thanks for the videos again. If you guys want me to react to anything, go to the Discord. Just put the videos in YouTube Spotlight and get straight on it. Get straight on it, man. Honestly, I think, you know, if they're good enough, I'll react to them. Check out Kranis. Okay, I'll have a look at them. I will. I'll do that. Okay. Thank you for coming, guys. See you later, guys. Wait, hang on. I'm gonna raid somebody. Wait, is anybody live? Is anybody live? Am I going to raid somebody? I might raid somebody, chat. Hang on.
Nice peppery beard. Thank you.
Yeah, you know what?
In, actually,
I'm raiding Marco, baby.
Monster Hunter Stories 3, second time.
I'm gonna raid Marco.
Final Fantasy 16,
I'm gonna raid Marco. Wait.
The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, Arcanum of Steamworks, and Magica Obscura.
I love Marco, man. I absolutely love him. I love his music analysis. I watched his Terraria Calamity analysis. I watched his WuWa analysis. I absolutely love it. Man.
Yeah, I think Kill la Kill will definitely be next. I think it's time. I think it's time for Kill la Kill. I think.
Where the hell is the raiding option?
Corner of my life. I also have the Blu-ray of 86 over here. So the limited edition. Did I ever show you guys? Well, there's Pokemon cards on top of it, so I'm gonna leave that where it is. But yeah.
Let's listen to VGM. All right.
I like this title today, by the way. Gotcha sucks. This game doesn't.
All right. Thank you all so much for coming. I'm going to go now. Enjoy Marco's stream.
Gundam?
Give him some love. He's an absolutely amazing guy.
I like Gundam fine.
Give him some love.
I wouldn't say I'm
absolutely.
crazy about Gundam. Although,
So yeah. See you on the next video. Bye for now.